Hello, welcome. My name is Favor, and today we're going to be discussing quite a few things. We're going to discuss contractionary and expansionary monetary policy, monetary multiplier, excess reserve, required reserve, demand deposit, open market operations, the difference between a single bank and a commercial bank, and the federal fund rate. All right, now let's look at our first scenario. Assume that the required reserve is 20% and that the bank holds no excess reserve. Now, assume that Robin Fenty deposits $400 of a cash pocket into her checkings account. Calculate each of the following: the maximum dollar amount the commercial bank can lend. All right, now we need to draw a T-chart of assets and liabilities. Now, liability would be the demand deposit which is 400, and now we need to find the RR and the ER. Now, since the required reserve is 20%, we do 0.2 times 400, which is 80, and we'll have 80 here, and we know DD is equal to ER plus RR. So then ER would be equal to DD minus RR. So we take that 400 minus 80 will give us 320, and 320 is the amount that the maximum dollar that the bank can initially lend. Now, it wants us to find the total change in demand deposits of the banking system. Now, the banking system is different from a single bank because you would have to take the ER times the monetary multiplier. Since the ER was 320, say, now 320 times 5 will give us 1600, and we now know that is the maximum change in the banking system, which will be 1600. All right, now for scenario 3, it wants to know the maximum change in money supply. Well, we know that the maximum change in a banking system, that they can make as much money as the ER times the monetary multiplier, and we also know the total change in money supply is also equal to the ER times the monetary multiplier, which is still 1600, and that will give us the same answer. All right. Now we have just covered the difference between a single bank and a commercial bank. All right. Now, let's look at scenario 3. Now, it says, assume that the Federal Reserve buys 12 million in government bonds in the open market. As a result of the open market purchase, calculate the maximum increase in the money supply in the banking system. Now, they bought 12 million. 12 million. So we would take 12 million times the required reserve, or the monetary multiplier, to get the total change. The delta sign stands for change. All right, now monetary multiplier, as we've known in our previous question, is 5. So 5 times 12 is equal to 60 million. And that will be the total change and the maximum change of the money supply in the banking system. Now, what we need to understand is that in an open market operation, or OMO for short, the Federal Reserve can buy or sell bonds. When they sell bonds, the money supply decreases. But when they buy bonds, the money supply increases. Also, when dealing with the federal fund rate, will tie into both of these because these are both monetary policies. The selling of bonds will conclude in a contractionary monetary policy, and then the buying of bonds will include in an expansionary. When you buy bonds, let me quickly make a chart. Expansionary monetary policy versus contractionary monetary policy. They buy bonds, decrease federal fund rate, which is the rate in which the federal fund rate is the rate that the Federal Reserve charges banks for taking loans out on the federal fund rate, and decrease required reserve. And it is absolutely the opposite for the contractionary monetary policy. Thank you, and I hope this video's helped.